Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Teachings of Queen Kunti. We are on prayer 23, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 40. Ime janapada swaridha super vaushadhi virudaha vanadri nadi udanvanto hi edhante tava vikshitahe. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. This is all due to your glancing over them. So reading from the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general, although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. So we think that advancement of human society is by scientific discovery, is by modernization of um, um, what shall I have to put it? That it's all because of this machines and technology, and that is actually what is advancement of human civilization. But actually, we are becoming a godless civilization. Godless. We are stopped to understand that we are totally dependent on God and that everything belongs to God. We are exploiting the natural resources, the natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, the hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme. And as He desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. So we can see, because of our greed, and the way we are exploiting material nature, we can see that now there is not abundance of pearls and the abundance of jewels. No, we don't see that. The minerals and jewels are not in abundance anymore. Why? Because we are thinking that whatever we see, it's for me, and so I can exploit them. We are forgetting everything belongs to God. It's God's creation. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative motive of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reactions of such exploitative attempts. So we say we are advancing, but we can see actually how are we advancing? We are ended up now, we are eating in disposable plates and forks and spoons. How are we advancing? Whereas earlier days, there was like real people would eat in plates of gold and silver. But now where is all that? When we are having in disposable ones, for so like for so many people. So the more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reaction of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of rivers, river waters, fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Prabhupada would say there is more than what we need. The only need is we need Krishna consciousness. That's why our society right now, we have become a godless society, a godless civilization, and that is what is the what is creating all the problems in society. So minerals are produced in hills and the jewels in the ocean. If human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should we hanker after terrible industrial enterprises at the cost of the labor of some unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. So Krishna is not saying don't take. He's giving us these jewels and pearls and water, fruits, grains, everything. It's for us. In Isopanisad, it is said that each person should take whatever is his quota. But we are not doing that. We are taking more than our quota. We are exploiting. And that's what's coming, where the problem is coming. Whereas Krishna is saying, you take it. You take how much you need to live peacefully and happily. At the same time, you engage in devotional service so that you can live happily in this life. And at the end of this life, you come back home, back to me. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural propensity may be maintained by his grace. Kunti Devi mentions that the grains are abundant, the trees full of fruits, the rivers flowing nicely, the hills full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. But she never mentions that industry and slaughterhouses are flourishing, for such things are nonsense that men have developed to create problems. So we can see Kunti Maharani, she's saying because Krishna is there, everything is in abundance. So Krishna, because he was there on this earth 5,000 years ago, there was abundance everywhere. Hills are full of minerals, rivers are flowing, oceans are full of the pearls, full of wealth, trees are full of fruits, herbs, grains. So because Krishna is there, so if someone says that, oh yes, I'm an incarnation of God, then we should say, then why, if you're an incarnation of God, then how can there be so much want right now in this world? Because whenever God is there, the entire world is full of abundance, full of abundance. If we depend on God's creation, there will be no scarcity, but simply ananda, bliss. God's creation provides sufficient grains and grass. And while we eat grains and fruits, the animals like the cows will eat the grass. The bulls will help us produce grains, and they will take only a little, being satisfied with what we throw away. If we take fruit and throw away the skin, the animal will be satisfied with the skin. In this way, with Krishna in the center, there can be full cooperation between the trees, animals, human beings, and all living entities. This is Vedic civilization, a civilization of Krishna consciousness. So this is what we need. We need to keep Krishna in the center of our lives so that we become Krishna conscious and so that everything around us becomes so that we can have peaceful, happy lives, live in cooperation with animals, with trees, with nature, because here otherwise we are trying to exploit nature, and we are in fact we are just creating problems for ourselves. We can see with the pandemic what's happening, because we try to exploit nature, and then how much will Mother Nature also bear? She is going to retaliate at some point or the other. So many times, many of the preachers also say this point, that when Krishna was there, the earth was full of abundance. So if somebody says that they are Krishna, then there should be abundance. There cannot be scarcity. There cannot be scarcity. There cannot be the slaughterhouses and what else is there? Industry, but there should be abundance of natural resources, jewels, pearls, grains, fruits, flowers. That should be in abundance. Kunti Devi prays to the Lord, the prosperity is due to your glance. When we sit in the temple of Krishna, Krishna glances over us and everything is nice. When sincere souls try to become Krishna's devotees, Krishna very kindly comes before them in his full opulence and glances upon them, and they become happy and beautiful. So Krishna's glance. So when we go to the temple, the deity is glancing over us. We are going to the temple so that the deity can see us, Krishna can see us. He's seeing us, and that makes us happy. That makes us happy. Similarly, the whole material creation is due to Krishna's glance. Sa aikshata. In the Vedas, it is said that he glanced over matter, thus agitating it. A woman in touch with a man becomes agitated and becomes pregnant and then gives birth to children. The whole creation follows a similar process. Simply by Krishna's glance, matter becomes agitated, then becomes pregnant and gives birth to the living entities. It is simply by his glance that plants, trees, animals, and all other living beings come forth. How is this possible? None of us can see. Simply by glancing over my life, I can make her pregnant. But although this is impossible for us, it is not impossible for Krishna. The Brahma Samhita 532 says, Angani yasya saklendriya vritamanti. Every part of Krishna's body has all the capabilities of the other parts. With our eyes, we can only see, but Krishna, merely by seeing, can make others pregnant. There's no need of sex, for simply by glancing, Krishna can create pregnancy. So Krishna's glance. Lord Brahma is saying in the Brahma Samhita that Krishna is, any one sense can do the work of the other senses. Krishna can eat with his eyes. We cannot eat with our eyes. We have to take the food with our hand and put it inside our mouth. We can't put that food inside our eyes. But Krishna can. He just looks at the food and he's eating it. Similarly, just by looking at Mother Nature, he's impregnating the Mother Nature. And then we, the living entities, are put, and then we get our different bodies. But a human being can't do that. He can't just say, oh, I looked at my wife and I made her pregnant. No, but Krishna can. That is Krishna. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll continue tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Kunti Maharani ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur
Jai.
Bhaktavinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare